Hello everyone! Today, I am going to discuss to you the factors of polynomials. The first topic that I am going to discuss is the greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor or the GCF? The greatest common factor of a polynomial is the largest monomial that a set of polynomials have in common. There are two ways to get the GCF of polynomials. The first way is by listing out the factors. First thing that you need to do is list the prime factors of each monomial. Then multiply those factors that both monomials have in common. If there is only one common factor, there is no need to multiply. For example, so what we're going to do is we're going to list their prime factors. And B. Now we're going to get their common factors. And now that we got their common factors, we're going to multiply them. So 9a squared b squared. And this will be the GCF of 27a to the power of 4b squared, 18 cubed b cubed, 45a squared and 45a squared b to the power of 4. The second method is the factor tree method. First, make a factor tree for each monomial. Then identify the common factors. Next, multiply the common factors to find the GCF. If there is only one common factor, there is no need to multiply. For example, we're going to write the factors like this. 3. So it looks like a 3. Then we're going to do the same for 72. 2. So we're going to check the factors that they have in common. So that's all their common factors. So now we multiply them. It will be 18. And this will be their greatest common factor. The second topic that I am going to discuss is the common monomial factoring. What is a common monomial factor or the CMF? It is a number, a variable, or a combination of a number and a variable which can be found in each term of a given polynomial. How do we get the CMF? First, find the greatest common factor or the GCF of the terms in the polynomial. This will be the first factor. Then divide each term by the GCF to get the other factor. For example, we have 36c squared d cubed minus 24c cubed d squared plus 30c to the power of 4d. So what we're going to do first is get their GCF. So their greatest common factor is 6c squared d. It will become our first factor. So 6c squared d. So what we're going to do now is we're going to divide the terms of the polynomial to 6c squared and d. So we're going to divide that. This will become 6d squared. Then this will become our final answer. And that is how you do common monomial factoring.
Factoring the difference of two squares. Whenever you have a binomial with each term being squared and they have subtraction as the middle sign, you are guaranteed to have the case of factoring the difference of two squares. To factor the difference of two squares, first get the principal square root of each of the two squares. Then using these square roots, form two factors, a sum and a difference.
Example of factoring the difference of two squares is this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the square roots of each of the terms. So we're going to form two factors using their square roots. So one will be a sum, then the other factor will be a difference. And this will be our answer.
The last topic that I am going to discuss is the factoring of perfect square trinomials, or the PST. How do we recognize a perfect square trinomial, or the PST? First, check whether the first and last terms of the trinomial are perfect squares. And see to it that the middle term is twice the product of the square roots of the first and last terms.
For example, to check if it is a perfect square trinomial, check if the first and the last terms are both perfect squares. So 36x squared is a perfect square because its square root will be 6x. And the last term is also a perfect square because its square root will be 5y. We will have to multiply the square roots of the first and the last term. Then we will have to multiply it to 2. It will be 60xy. So, if what you will get is the same with the middle term, we can say that this is a perfect square trinomial.
In factoring perfect square trinomials, get the square roots of the first and last terms. Use the sign of the middle term of the trinomial between these roots. Then raise the binomial obtained in step 2 to the second power.
To factor a perfect square trinomial, get the square roots of the first and last term. So the square root of 4a squared is 2a. And the square root of the last term, 9b squared, is 3b. Then use the sign of the middle term in between these two. So, it is a positive sign, so plus. Then raise the binomial obtained to the second power. Then this will be your answer.
That would be all. Thank you!